Hello, it's Camp Talk 2024. This is Bill Kennedy with the Global Interdependence Center, and I'm here with my good friend, Holly Wade, from the National Federation of Independent Businesses.
Good job with the name.
Thank you, of which my firm, RiskBridge, is a member, and proudly so.
Yeah.
So, Holly, how was your day of fishing?
It was fantastic. It's always great to be up here. It's wonderful to get out of Washington, D.C. for a couple days, where, there's always a whole lot of conversation about one thing and coming up here and broadening out the conversation and perspective from everybody who attends is fantastic.
I completely agree with that. So your organization, the NFIB, just tell the audience a little bit about its purpose, what it does, how it works.
Sure. So we advocate for small businesses. We have been around since 1943. We have roughly 300,000 small business owners across the country in our membership. They are mostly employers, but span all industries, and we advocate on the issues that are most important to them on a national level and also on the state level.
Good. So a big survey that takes place, and how frequent does a survey happen? Is it monthly?
So we have the Small Business Economic Trends Survey that we conduct monthly, and it's a random sample of our members. And we're able to ask, well, we have been asking the same questions over the last 50 years about how they're operating their business, the economic conditions in which they're operating, and how they're adjusting. So we have a long history of data on small business behavior, so we can kind of see where we are now compared to where we've been and anticipate where they're going with some of the questions that are more forward-looking.
And because small business is such a huge driver of economic activity and economic growth,
yes.
I think it's very powerful information. Small business optimism, how would you characterize it today based on the latest survey data?
So I'm remiss to say unprecedented times because that is the phrase that's used a zillion times. However, small business owners are generally pessimistic, but when in previous times of pessimism for a small business owner, it's definitely a sign of whether they are going into a recession or coming out of a recession. And right now, the big problems that they're facing that are making them particularly less optimistic are inflation and the labor shortage. So those are very stressful on small business owners in their capacity to grow their business, to keep their doors open, to operate fully. And it's incredibly frustrating for them having to try and figure out how to price their goods and services and remain competitive. And so we've been in this environment for a number of years. It's still frustrating. It's still there as one of the, or two of the biggest problems that they're facing.
So inflation's still and it's still a concern.
Absolutely.
And we've had that conversation here all weekend here in Upward Maine, talking about inflation's coming down, but prices are not.
No,
prices
the levels
are
still there.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So as an allocator, we find the work that you and your team do and the survey data to be very, very useful in terms of thinking about tactical allocations between stocks and bonds. And it's very timely work. If people want to get access to NFIB
Sure.
results, how can they do that? Is it publicly available?
It is. All of our survey data is publicly available, and you can access the reports on the NFIB website at nfib.com.
Great. So, as importantly, Holly and I have the pleasure of serving on the executive committee and the board of the GIC.
Yes.
And as our vice chair of programs, you've had a great stint, really helpful in putting a great group of programs together, including supporting Camp Talk this year.
Yes.
So thank you. Job well done.
It was wonderful.
So tell us a little bit what's coming up in terms of GIC programming as we look forward to the second half of this year and maybe early next year.
Sure. Well, we have two programs coming up that everybody's very excited about. The first one is December 3rd and 4th, and it's the Central Bankers Symposium. It's in New York City. And we have over 20 fellows attending, and it'll be a great discussion. There's a dinner on the 3rd and a program on the 4th. That's at Bloomberg headquarters. And the dinner on the 3rd, we have our guest speaker, Mark Sandy, which should be fascinating to hear from him.
And the fellows make up a group of retired policymakers
Yes.
and central bank leaders and presidents from around the world. So it's going to be a really interesting dialogue on both the 3rd and 4th of December. So looking forward to that. If you want to learn more about this College of Central Bankers Symposium, that's at interdependence.org, www.interdependence.org.